Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to be your helpful insurance guide today. Look, if you're packing up boxes, renting a moving van, or honestly just dreaming about a fresh start in a new city, there's one really important thing you literally cannot afford to leave behind, and that's your health coverage. So today, we're going on a bit of a journey. We're going to use this step-by-step guide to navigate what can sometimes feel like a super confusing forest of moving and health insurance rules. We'll figure out exactly how your change of address impacts your coverage and how to make sure you stay completely protected.
Okay, let's dive right in by defining what I like to call our golden key, the Special Enrollment Period, or SEP. Now, you probably remember that the system usually requires you to buy health insurance during a very specific time of year, right? Open enrollment. But, well, life doesn't always wait for open enrollment. A special enrollment period is simply a special window of time that lets you enroll in health coverage, switch your plans completely outside of that normal annual window, or sometimes even get an earlier start date for your coverage. And here's the best part. Moving can very often hand you this exact golden key.
Think of this agenda as our literal map for today's journey. We'll be covering 1. Unlocking special enrollment. 2. Moves that open doors. 3. The 60-day rule. 4. Exceptions to the rule. And 5. Moves that don't count. Let's get started.
Section 1. Unlocking Special Enrollment, your step-by-step guide.
So, this right here is your 3-step master checklist, designed to make sure we don't get totally lost in all that healthcare bureaucracy. Step 1, check your move type. Step 2, check the calendar rule. And Step 3, check for exceptions. It's really that simple. Oh, and just a quick heads up, you are absolutely going to need to gather some basic documentation. Things like a new lease, utility bill, or your voter registration. Basically just stuff to prove your exact move date and your new address.
Moving right along to Section 2, Moves that Open Doors, Qualifying Events.
Now, the overarching requirement for moving is actually really fascinating. It's not just about, changing your physical address. To qualify for a special enrollment period based on a change in where you live, that move must actually give you access to new health plan options on the marketplace. Think about it. If you literally just move across the street, your health plan options probably didn't change at all, right? So you don't really need a new enrollment window. But if you move to a totally different area, well, the available networks and plans change, and that is exactly what opens the door for you.
Let's look at some specific scenarios that actually qualify. Try to picture your own moving boxes fitting into one of these categories. Moving to a new zip code or county? Yeah, that's definitely the most common one. But it also includes moving to the U.S. from a foreign country or a U.S. territory. Are you a college student packing up the minivan for the semester? Yep, moving to or from where you attend school totally counts. Or maybe you're taking on a cool summer job at a national park. Moving to or from where you both live and work as a seasonal worker counts too. It also covers some more vulnerable situations, like moving into a shelter or other transitional housing. All right, let's hit Section 3, the 60-day rule. Timing is everything.
Okay, the absolute most crucial metric here is the number 60. I really want to burn this into your memory before you even pack a single box. First off, you have a very strict 60-day deadline to report your move to the marketplace after it happens. But there's a second, super often missed hurdle, the 1 in 60 rule.
Let me break this 1 in 60 hurdle down really clearly for you, because it trips up a lot of people. Generally speaking, to unlock a special enrollment period for a move, you have to prove that you had qualifying health coverage for at least one single day during the 60 days right before your move. Basically, the marketplace just wants to see that you aren't suddenly buying insurance just because you got sick right after moving, They want to see that you already had coverage and you simply need to switch because your relocation forced you out of your old plan's network. So remember the golden rule. Report within 60 days after you move and make sure you had at least one day of coverage in the 60 days prior. Which brings us to Section 4, Exceptions to the rule, finding a different path. Because every good rule has exceptions, right? Here is a quick summary checklist of the most common ones. If you fit into one of these neat little categories, that strict prior coverage rule we just talked about, it simply doesn't apply to you. First, if you were living in a foreign country or a U.S. territory for at least one day in the 60 days before your move, you are exempt. I mean, obviously, you couldn't have had standard U.S. marketplace coverage while living abroad. Second, if you're a member of a federally recognized tribe or an Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act Corporation shareholder, you are also exempt. And finally, if you lived in a service area where you genuinely couldn't get qualifying marketplace health coverage for at least one day during those 60 days prior, well, you're off the hook for that requirement too.
And finally, Section 5, Moves that don't count. Beware of dead ends.
It is super important that we starkly contrast the right path with what I call the dead ends. We've already established what qualifies, right? School, transitional housing, permanent zip code changes, all of that. But let's look at what absolutely does not qualify. If you are moving somewhere temporarily just to receive medical treatment, unfortunately, that does not open the enrollment gate. Furthermore, if you're just staying somewhere for a vacation, hey, even if it's a really long, extended vacation, that is not considered a true change in your primary place of living. Bottom line, those temporary trips will definitely not unlock a special enrollment period.
So here is the big million-dollar question I want to leave you with. Your bags are packed, but is your coverage actually secure? I highly encourage you to take a second right now and evaluate your own moving timeline against the exact map we just built today. Do you have a qualifying event? Do you have all your documentation ready to go? Do you meet that tricky 1 in 60-day prior coverage rule? Or do you happen to fit into one of the exceptions? Figuring these rules out before that moving truck pulls out of your driveway is absolutely crucial for a stress-free transition. Thank you so much for letting me be your guide on this explainer today. And hey, here's to securing your health insurance journey wherever your very next chapter takes you.